My girlfriend broke up with me on my birthday, claiming she was upgrading to someone better. As I blew out the candles on my cake, my phone lit up with a notification that would change everything. Laughter filled the restaurant, my friends raising their glasses to toast another year of my life, but the moment I saw her name flash on the screen, the world around me faded. My name is Alex, and at 39, I received what felt like the most brutal message imaginable. Hey Alex, I just wanted to be upfront with you. I found someone better, someone younger, hotter, and honestly, an upgrade. I transferred our money into my personal account. It felt fair since I was the one making most of it anyway. No hard feelings. Enjoy your birthday. A breath caught in my throat as the words glowed on my screen like a neon sign of betrayal. I didn't react outwardly, no shaking hands, no sudden gasp, no tears welling in my eyes. If anyone at the table noticed anything, it was probably just the way I suddenly sat a little straighter, the way my smile became sharper instead of softer. Congrats, I typed back, one word, no anger, no desperation, just a simple, quiet response. What Mia didn't realize, what she never once considered in her inflated sense of superiority, was that I had been paying attention for months. Mia had always been confident, it was part of her charm at first. The way she could make anything sound like it was her idea, even when it wasn't, was captivating. But then things started to change. The sudden late nights at work, even though her company didn't require overtime, the way her phone was always face down, and the way she'd roll her eyes when I mentioned future plans, as if I was naive for even thinking we had a future. At first, it was little things. Her Venmo payments suddenly became delayed, and there was a sudden concern over shared expenses when she used to cover dinner without hesitation. Then came the big red flag. Last month, she suggested we move our shared savings to an account under her name. It's just easier that way, she had said with a dismissive wave of her hand. I'm better with money, babe. I'll make sure we're set. I smiled and nodded, even letting her believe she had convinced me. That same afternoon, I walked into my bank and opened a new account. I didn't drain our joint savings, not completely, that would have been too obvious. Instead, I withdrew just enough over time that she wouldn't notice, moving my portion into the new account and leaving behind just enough to keep up appearances. And now, on my birthday, I knew exactly what had happened. Mia thought she had won, she thought she had taken everything and left me with nothing. Except she was about to learn the hard way just how wrong she was. An hour after her text, my phone buzzed again, this time from a mutual friend. Alex, I don't know how to say this, but Mia just hard launched her new boyfriend on Instagram. She literally posted, "The glow up is real. Out with the old, in with the new. I am fuming for you." I clicked the link, and sure enough, there she was, posing in a luxury hotel suite, arm wrapped around a man who couldn't have been older than 22, long legs, perfect hair, the kind of effortless beauty that made people do double takes. Jake. The same Jake she had told me was just a friend. The same Jake she had sworn was annoying and immature. And yet there he was, wrapped around her like a prize she had just won. The comments were ruthless. Okay, queen. Big upgrade. Damn girl, upgraded from economy to first class. R.I.P. to the ex, he must be crying. Oh, how wrong they were. I wasn't crying, I was waiting. Mia believed she had outsmarted me. She assumed I would do what every man in her past had done, break down, beg for closure, spiral into heartbreak. But the thing about arrogant women is that they always underestimate the men they betray. She had forgotten whose name was on the lease of our apartment. She had forgotten whose credit card she had been using for the last 6 months. She had forgotten that I was the one who had built our savings while she had only ever contributed in words, not numbers. I stared at my phone, at the texts, at the photos, at the comments that were meant to humiliate me, and I smiled. Mia had made the first move, but I was about to make the last one. She believed she had already won, she thought she had taken the money, the power, and the upper hand. But what she had really done was set herself up for a fall so spectacular that even she wouldn't see it coming. The next morning, I made a call to our bank. "Hi, I need to report fraudulent activity on my joint account." The customer service representative's voice was polite but firm. "What kind of fraudulent activity, sir?" I took a deep breath, ready to say the words that would flip Mia's world upside down. Money was withdrawn without my permission, and I have text message proof that my ex took the funds maliciously. There was a pause. Would you be able to forward those messages to our fraud department? Of course, happy to. I sent the proof within minutes. By 9:30 a.m., Mia's personal bank account, the one she had so proudly transferred all our money into, was frozen pending an investigation. The next text from Mia came right on schedule. Alex, WTF did you do? My bank account is locked. I can't access anything. I sipped my morning coffee before replying, weird. Maybe you should call your bank. She called, and what a call that must have been. I imagined the moment the representative explained that her account was frozen due to a fraud complaint, and that she wouldn't have access to a single cent until the matter was resolved. I could picture the slow realization washing over her that her grand upgrade wasn't going as planned, that her luxurious vacation dreams with Jake had just crashed and burned, and that I was not the fool she had thought I was. Mia had booked a rental car for her trip with Jake, a flashy convertible, of course. I knew this because I had seen the confirmation email pop up on our shared iPad weeks ago. And guess what credit card she had used? Mine. She had stupidly left the card details saved in the system, thinking I wouldn't notice. So at 10 a.m., I made my second phone call of the day. Hi, I need to report an unauthorized transaction on my credit card. By noon, the rental car was cancelled, and just like that, Mia and Jake had no ride to their supposed better life. At exactly 12:17 p.m., my phone rang. Mia. I let it go to voicemail. A minute later, another call, then another. By the fifth attempt, I finally picked up. Alex, you need to fix this. My bank is frozen, my rental is cancelled, my stuff is in trash bags outside the apartment. You've made your point, okay? I smiled, twirling my coffee spoon between my fingers. Oh, Mia, I haven't even started. Mia was unraveling. I could hear it in her voice, see it in her texts, feel it in her desperation. But I wasn't done yet, not by a long shot. Because what's the point of revenge if the person who betrayed you doesn't fully understand the depth of their mistake? I was going to make sure Mia felt every bit of the consequences she had brought upon herself. And the best part? She still had no idea just how deep the trap had been set. Mia's next brilliant move had been booking a high-end hotel suite for herself and Jake, 5-star luxury, ocean views, private balcony, a fantasy trip meant to be the cherry on top of her upgrade to a better life. Too bad she didn't pay attention to the fine print. Because when she transferred all our money into her personal account, and that account got frozen for fraud, the pending hotel charges bounced. At exactly 3 p.m., Mia and Jake arrived at the hotel, dressed for a vacation they could no longer afford. I wish I could have seen her face when the receptionist politely told her, "I'm sorry, ma'am, but your payment was declined, and unfortunately, we've had to release your reservation." Jake must have been thrilled because half an hour later, my phone buzzed with an unknown number. I already knew who it was. I answered, keeping my voice light. Hello? A second of silence, then not Mia, but Jake. His voice was tight with frustration. Alex, hey, look, I know things are weird between us, but I didn't let him finish. Jake, how's that upgrade treating you? Silence, then a sharp breath through his nose. I just need to know if there's something we can do to fix this. Mia said you froze her account. I laughed. Mia said that, did she? And did she also mention how she stole money that wasn't hers? Or how she left me on my birthday like an absolute coward? Jake exhaled sharply. Look, I didn't know any of that, okay? I just thought I cut him off again. You just thought she was an innocent, misunderstood girl who needed saving? Let me guess, she told you I was cold, controlling, that I didn't support her dreams? The silence on the other end told me everything I needed to random guy. He was a junior staff member at her firm, and now corporate had questions. Mia thought she was calling to scare me into backing off. She still didn't understand how completely she had already lost. So, I decided to spell it out for her. Mia, let's get something straight. I didn't do anything to you. You did this to yourself. You stole our money, you played yourself. You lost control the moment you underestimated me. Her breathing sharpened. I swear to God, Alex. No, Mia, you don't swear to God. You swear to yourself that next time you won't be so stupid. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have plans. Enjoy your better life, if you can still afford it. With that, I hung up. Her calls kept coming, but I never answered. Mia was losing control. Everything she had so confidently taken for herself was slipping through her fingers like sand. No money, no hotel, no car, no apartment, and now no job security either. But Mia wasn't the type to go down quietly. No, she was the kind of woman who would set herself on fire just to feel like she was still in control. The next morning, I woke up to a knock at my door. Not a text, not a call, a knock. Through the peephole, I saw a uniform. Chris Walker, the officer asked as I opened the door. I kept my face calm. Yes, that's me. Is there a problem? We received a report about stolen property. Your ex-girlfriend, Mia Carter, claims that you've unlawfully kept items that belong to her. I almost laughed out loud. Did she now? She specifically mentioned some designer bags, a laptop, and a few dresses. I stepped aside, gesturing to the hallway where Mia's trash-bagged belongings still sat. Everything she left behind is right there, untouched. She's welcome to take it if she actually comes to get it herself. The officer glanced at the bags. So you haven't prevented her from accessing her property? Nope. But I have prevented her from accessing my apartment, my money, and my life. Is that a crime? The officer smirked. Not at all, sir. Sounds like a civil matter, not a criminal one. We'll be closing this complaint. And just like that, Mia's pathetic attempt to intimidate me through law enforcement failed. Strike one. 2 hours later, my phone buzzed again, a call from a familiar number. Jake. I considered ignoring it, but curiosity got the better of me. Hello? I answered, keeping my tone light. Chris, I need to know the truth. Jake's voice came through tight with frustration. How much of this did you plan? Plan? I repeated, feigning confusion. What exactly are you accusing me of, Jake? Oh, don't play dumb. Mia's broke, her job is on the line, her accounts are frozen, and now she's crashing at my place like some homeless ex-girlfriend. This isn't just bad luck, you did something. I smiled, swirling my coffee. Jake, let me ask you something. Did Mia ever tell you why she and I shared the bank account? Silence. Did she ever mention whose name is on the apartment lease or how she's been living off my credit cards for months? More silence, then softly, almost bitterly, no. She said you owed her that money, that you were controlling, that you'd never let her have any independence. I let out a short laugh. So she convinced you that stealing from me was just her taking back control? Classic. Jake exhaled sharply. God, I was such an idiot. I didn't argue because, yeah, he kind of was. The final nail in Mia's coffin came 3 days later. Her company officially fired her not just because of the workplace relationship scandal, though that was bad enough, but because HR had reviewed her expense reports. Turns out Mia had been reimbursing herself for fake business dinners. She'd even expensed hotel stays that I hadn't even discovered yet. Her arrogance wasn't just personal, it was professional suicide. And now, Mia was truly left with nothing. The very last time Mia ever contacted me was 1 week later. Her name popped up on my screen, but instead of rejecting it, I answered. I wanted to hear it. Chris, she started, her voice hollow. You win. I didn't say anything, I let the words hang between us. Mia sighed. I don't get it. You didn't even try to get back at me. You didn't scream, you didn't fight. You just let everything collapse around me. I took a deep breath, then finally answered. Her reply came instantly. Laura, I just need to know the truth. She won't tell me anything, and all I hear are pieces of the story from other people. That was interesting because if her own mother wasn't defending her anymore, it meant Mia's charm had officially run out. I agreed to meet Laura for coffee, not because I cared about Mia, but because I wanted to see how much damage she had done to herself. When I walked into the cafe, Laura looked exhausted, like she had aged 5 years in just a few weeks. "Thank you for meeting me," she said, stirring her tea absent-mindedly. "I just need to understand how this happened." I shrugged. "Your daughter overplayed her hand. She thought she was untouchable, she thought she was smarter than me." Laura sighed. "She told us you were controlling, that you tried to ruin her." I laughed, shaking my head. "Tell me, Laura, what does controlling mean to Mia?" "Because as far as I can tell, it means not letting her get away with everything she wants." She didn't argue, in fact, she looked guilty. "We spoiled her," she admitted. "We always bailed her out when she screwed up. Her dad and I thought we were helping, but I see now that we just enabled her to believe she'd never face real consequences." I took a sip of my coffee, letting her words settle. Then she asked the real question, "Chris, is there any way back for her?" I thought about it, then said the only thing I knew to be true. Not until she realizes that she is the problem. By the look on her face, I knew she already understood the answer. I heard bits and pieces over the next few months. Mia moved back in with her parents. Apparently, they gave her conditions this time: no free money, no reckless spending, and definitely no more boyfriends using her as a stepping stone. I found it ironic because Jake had dumped her a week after our last conversation. Guess being the upgrade wasn't as fun when the money ran out. While Mia was stuck rebuilding her life from scratch, I was thriving. I got a promotion, traveled, and started a business on the side. For the first time in years, I felt completely free. No more waiting for someone to grow up, no more walking on eggshells, no more playing a game where the only way to win was to leave the table entirely. One day, nearly a year later, I got a message request on social media. I almost ignored it, but then I saw the name Mia. Curiosity got the best of me, and I clicked. "Chris, hey. I know it's been a long time. I just wanted to say I'm sorry. I screwed up. I should have treated you better. I don't expect anything, but I wanted you to know that." I stared at the message for a long moment, then deleted it unanswered. Some apologies come far too late. Mia was nothing but a distant memory now, a lesson, a cautionary tale, a reminder of everything I would never tolerate again. While she was still trying to crawl her way out of the hole she dug for herself, my life was only getting better. The best part? I didn't just survive her betrayal, I thrived because of it. A year had passed since that awful birthday, since the laughable text message where Mia declared she was upgrading her life at my expense. Yet when I looked at where we both ended up, it was clear who had really won. This was my reality now. My career had skyrocketed, that side business I started took off. Turns out, when you remove a financial leech from your life, your bank account thrives. I found love again, a real, mature, respectful relationship with someone who didn't need to tear me down just to feel like a woman. I traveled the world while Mia was stuck in her parents' basement. I was exploring cities, trying new foods, and finally living for myself. I didn't need revenge because my success spoke for itself. But life has a funny way of wrapping up loose ends. It happened at a mutual friend's wedding. I almost didn't go, but something told me this was going to be worth it. And I was right. The moment I walked in, I saw her, Mia, slumped at a table in the corner, nursing a cheap wine, looking nothing like the woman who once thought she was too good for me. Her once carefully styled hair was unkempt, her expensive dresses replaced by an ill-fitting cocktail dress. Her signature confidence was gone. I almost felt bad for her, almost, until our eyes met and I saw it: regret. The kind of regret that settles deep in your bones when you realize you traded gold for tinfoil. I gave her a small, polite smile, then turned back to my date.